Taurus, welcome to your full moon reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the full moon in Cancer happening on January the 13th. The pre-shuffle was very interesting, so I feel like there is quite a bit here to reflect on for you. Let's get started, Taurus. Okay, King of Wands starting the reading with the Page of Cups on the bottom. Interesting. Yeah, you're really focused forward here. King of Wands, it's like you're ready to implement some new things here. You know, Page of Cups is bringing in your manifestations. King of Wands wants to implement a vision. There's a vision you're wanting to implement for yourself moving forward. I wonder what you need to release to see that through. Sun card coming out. This is your full potential, but you've got the Two of Cups in reverse. So it feels like the challenge here is seeing yourself in your full potential. I wonder if you're in some ways, you know, as you're looking forward, are you in your full optimistic energy here, or is there a part of you that feels disconnected from yourself in some way? You know, this idea of feeling disconnected from our highest good as we're trying to implement a path or vision we may have, that in itself feels like there's an inherent conflict or challenge, because if we're not seeing our full potential, the path of implementing a vision that would express that full potential could be a little tricky. Let's see what's rising to the top here. You've got the Lovers card coming out with the King of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Magician. Yeah, like if you're not feeling like your choices are reflecting something authentic and emotionally, if you're feeling like, you know, King of Cups always makes me feel like someone might be struggling to get their emotions balanced. They may be feeling like their outer expression of themselves is beneath a bunch of emotions. So something's got you envisioning the future, but you may not be seeing the full potential because you're not setting a tone here, even with the Magician on the bottom, that allows your emotions to set that high vibration in your energy. The thing coming through for you right now is this idea of what's the inner conversation you're having with yourself about yourself. And are you surrounding yourself with people that are sort of, you know, confirming a sort of less optimistic energy, and that's kind of bringing you down? That's going to really play a role here, because the printer's always printing, my friends. Whatever you focus on is going to be somehow reflected in your outer world. And you've got two kings here, which are all about this outer energy. So this is almost a message right away, Taurus, to say your full potential is sort of right outside of this dynamic that feels like you're not, your emotions aren't supporting that vision. You may need to get more mindful about that inner conversation and what you're focusing on. What are you sending to the printer? And who are you spending time with? Are you spending time with individuals that see you in a certain way, or see your circumstances in a certain way that may have you feeling like it's hard to stay above water emotionally? You know, you may be more focused on the outer circumstances as they are present, rather than the vision that you have that is full of more potential, more optimism, more conviction and strength, like that King of Wands energy. Knight of Pentacles just fell on the floor. Let me grab him. There we go. At the root of the reading with the Emperor in reverse. Interesting. I mean, you've got to change your viewpoint of what you're able to do. You've got this masculine energy, which makes me feel like your actions are not in alignment with this perspective that says, I can. You may be taking those actions, but if you're not setting the if you're not working with the law of assumption, let's say, to have some assumptions, or you might be working with the law of assumption in some ways, where the assumptions you're holding, if they're not in alignment with what you're trying to create, any assumption, even if it's false, if it's held for a certain amount of time, consistently, it will harden into fact. And so it's almost like this Knight of Pentacles is saying, am I moving myself towards my highest good or away from it? And I can't help but feel like it has to do with these assumptions you're holding, the concept of self you're holding. Are you doubting yourself? Are you starting to doubt the possibilities instead of maintaining that focus within in order to create and implement something here that really feels like it's your full potential? You might be in some way not supporting yourself as much as you could, Taurus. Oh my goodness, you have so many court cards coming out. King of Swords with the Empress in reverse. This almost confirms exactly what I was saying with the Four of Cups in reverse on the bottom. It's like your perception of yourself is not in its highest alignment, and you may really be focusing on the outer environment to give you information about yourself, and what you're seeing might be telling you, I'm not good enough, I can't do it. You might be feeling a little bit stuck with this King of Swords in reverse in a certain mindset that's almost kind of like Four of Cups can really be like a poor me kind of attitude, right? And I have a lot of compassion for this energy, because when we get there, it can be something that really shifts our day quickly when we wake up in the morning, instead of focusing on the things that are going well for us and being more focused on the wins. If you're more focused on the losses and you're holding that throughout the day, you're really going to find that holding an optimistic perspective is going to be your challenge for real. And for some of you, I feel like this could be affecting a creative expression. It could be affecting your sense of self, even through your work life, your relationships. You might even be feeling a bit low in terms of your emotions with that King of Cups. You might be feeling sad. You might be feeling fragmented and scattered, like you don't know yourself anymore. This is a time to do a mindset reset, to start shifting intentionally and deliberately without judgment, so that you're not focused that inner conversation on feeling doubt. We saw the Emperor in reverse. Now we're seeing the Empress in reverse. So it's hitting you in terms of the inner self, but it's also affecting how you're communicating, how you're speaking. So the inner conversation and the outer conversation about self need to shift here, Taurus. What's the upcoming energy? Oh yeah, it's the Three of Cups. That also flew onto the floor. One sec. Okay, Three of Cups coming out. You need some levity here with some new people. I feel like you might need to really be surrounded by people that aren't going to have this dim outlook on the future. And it happens, right? Like, what's coming to mind is maybe someone who works in an office, and they come in, and when the coworkers all gather for lunch or at a break, and they're all sort of talking about things that are dissatisfying, or they're dissatisfied with certain things, or they're feeling like cycles are repeating, and so they're talking about their frustrations more than their ambitions, and they're not talking about the things that lift them up. That this Three of Wands is it's like you're not dreaming big enough. And this Three of Cups makes me wonder if it has something to do with the energy you're surrounding yourself. Are you surrounding yourself and allowing yourself to sort of feel encouraged and uplifted with the company you keep? Or have you sort of settled or resigned yourself to this, almost like the idea of groupthink is coming to mind, this psychological concept that says if there's a group of people that all see things the same way, then it's very hard to create new energy around that, because it's almost like you're all confirming each other's low viewpoint of something. So it kind of feels like you might need to surround yourself with some higher vibrational folks, Gosh, all the cards keep flying off onto the floor. One sec. There we go. Yeah, it's the Hangman. You need to look at things from a different perspective, and one that's more fulfilled, one that's focused on the wins, focusing on the wins, Taurus. This is definitely a period of discomfort for you. Something has got you feeling really uncomfortable, likely in your day-to-day routine, your work, your money, your resources, your vision for the future. The folks you're spending time with may all be focused on the hardships instead of what's working for them, you know, and seeing the Nine of Cups on the bottom for the Hangman feels like if you want to start to feel better, you need to look at things from a different point of view and shift that mindset intentionally to start envisioning the end, right? Like I always think of the King of Wands as being a master of manifesting and implementing things for himself because he's able to look at things and embody the end point without focusing too much on how it happens or, you know, what the current energy of something may be. You know, that's just what you've been able to create so far. So there may be this need to sort of pull yourself away from that energy that confirms that everything is difficult and everything is hard and everything is a struggle in order to feel better so that you can start generating a higher vibration. The Moon card. Yeah, this is likely really showing you where you have some fears, where you have some transformation to do around pushing through things. You've got the Sun and the Moon in the same reading, which really feels like the inner shift brings on the outer shift. And you've got the World on the bottom. So you're ready to close a certain cycle. And I wonder if something within you is misunderstanding the end of a cycle with I'm no good or I'm not good enough or I can't, instead of just trusting that, well, this may be the end of the road for something that I've been doing and it's time to start moving towards a different vision, even if it takes me away from certain relationships, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable and if it's triggering some fears. This may be that this full moon is trying to get you to release some of that in order to make room for something new. But it all starts with you. And you've got the Eight of Wands with the, you know, Wheel of Fortune in reverse coming up next, which feels like you might be trying to control something too much and you might not be trusting enough. You really might be feeling like restless in your mind and you might be feeling like you're spinning out a bit. Things may really feel a little bit out of control right now, Taurus. And you know, the Eight of Wands in reverse sort of brings out this idea that I'm experiencing delays and things are moving really slowly and I'm starting to get really frustrated and restless. And why am I experiencing all of these misfortunes and setbacks and losses and things are just so delayed and I just want to get moving? And, you know, this really may be a time to trust that you do need to pause and evaluate, like that Moon card. And there's the movement, there's the victory, but you're ungrounded. Right now, you may be fearing something in the material world. I wonder if for some of you, there's been some sort of events or delays that are causing you to start to worry about your resources, your home, your security. The root chakra is screaming out at me when I see this, but your victory is right around the corner. And I mean, the thing that moves the chariot is your will, is your energy. It's your focus that moves you from what doesn't serve to your higher ground. And that's the challenge right now, is to get grounded so that you can sort of start to shift things through surrender, not control. I wonder if there's something you're trying to keep in your life that you have decided is the only form of security, and it's time to change. It's the Moon card makes me feel like you're transforming. Something within yourself is transforming, and so you're your outer is going to reflect that as well. Yin card in reverse, more self-care, more time to get emotionally back to a level place. Bottom of the deck for that is round and round. Yeah, you've been circling something. And even though I think it's coming up to show you a certain redirection, you might be taking it as rejection. You might be saying some things to yourself like, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, you know, and if it has to do with like your work, you might be really sort of feeling ungrounded because why can't I do this anymore? Why am I suddenly feeling like, you know, this isn't providing that same type of security in my identity? The concept you're holding of yourself is changing, but I can't help but think that it's changing into a place of, you know, where you're not trusting something within, and you might be trying to hang on to something that actually needs to go. It's the, you know, full moon energy is trying to send you this message in a bottle saying, you know, let this go and breathe, get grounded, you know, start doing some things to intentionally shift your energy. You might not be able to see it on this card, but there's a number of ripples around her head as they are in the water here. And it really feels like whatever you're focusing on is expanding. And this experience may really be trying to show you just how reflective your outer world is to your inner world, and that it doesn't go the other way. Like in the sense of, we can't hold out for something in the outer world to make us feel a certain way. You'll be waiting forever. And that may be why we're seeing this delay here in the Eight of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune for Taurus. Yeah, I can't help but think that you're taking a redirection personally and seeing it as a rejection. And that may be at the root of this bigger transformation that's happening, but it's not meant to make you feel like a rejection. It's meant to show you something about a transformation that's happening for you within, that's creating chaos in the outer world. But if you can bring stillness within and trust this redirection and where it may be taking you, getting grounded is going to feel a lot better for you. Let's see. The Moonology deck comes out with the energy is gaining momentum. Yeah, it sure is. And a time for healing. So, you know, it really could be that this is an opportunity for you to sit in the discomfort, allowing realizations to come around this redirection and where your victory, where your path is, and where you can implement some new intentions here. This is a time of change, Taurus. Nothing lasts forever, and that's good news. You know, we wouldn't want anything to last forever, the good times or the bad. That's what keeps us moving, right? And you've got, don't let your past hold you back. I think that's what you're hanging on to. There's a past version of yourself that you're maybe hanging on to here. And, you know, it just feels like it may be that cycle has come to an end and it's time to move towards a new vision, you know, and just like you created the vision that you have for what's ending, you can create a vision for something that's beginning. Yeah, wow. But this must be feeling uncomfortable. You've got some cards here that make me feel like even your relationships may be shifting. You might not even be feeling like you can really identify with the same folks anymore. You might really be needing an overhaul. This is a brand new beginning for you, and this full moon is trying to get you to let go and trust. I'm going to leave it at that. Those are the messages I have for you, my friends. I hope it's been helpful, and we will see you again soon for another reading. Take care.